Hello there, welcome! In this lecture, we are going to learn about synthetic division, which is basically a method used to divide polynomials. Disclaimer, I hate synthetic division. We're done. Most of my students, honestly, everyone who I've ever met, they prefer synthetic division to long division. And the reason why I dislike synthetic division is because you only use it in one case. The rest of the cases is not going to work. Anyways, all that talk aside, let's begin. So in this example, we have 3x squared minus 13x minus 10 divided by x minus 5. What are you going to do? Well, you do not know synthetic division, you do not know long division. I would prefer using long division. Why am I ranting? Anyways, we're here to learn synthetic division. So here is what you're going to do. You need to figure out what number will make denominator 0. That number is 5. And what are we going to do now? We're going to divide by 5. But we're not going to divide like everything. What are we going to do? We're going to write out the coefficient of each polynomial term. So we have 3, negative 13, and negative 10. Write it down. And then you're gonna make like a little corner and write down 5. You probably already got confused. What did I do? I wrote down all my coefficients and I figured out what number will make my denominator 0. That number is 5. So I'm dividing these coefficients by 5, not actually dividing. Pay attention. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring down the first term. So 3 goes down. Now I'm going to multiply 3 by 5 and I'm going to get 15. And I'm going to write down 15 under negative 13. I don't think that this method is very intuitive. I think you actually have to memorize it. I do not like memorization, so this is why I prefer not using synthetic division. But anyways, so how did I get to 15? 3 times 5. Now I'm going to add. So negative 13 plus 15 is going to be 2. Now 2 multiplied by 5 is going to be 10. 10 is going to be written here. And then negative 10 plus 10 is going to be 0. 0 is going to be your remainder. And then you keep increasing x to the power. So this will be x to the 0 power. And this will be x to first power. So my final answer is 3x plus 2. Because any number to a 0 power is going to be 1. Listen, I do not expect you to understand it from the first try. But again, the more you do it, the easier it will get. What did I do? I wrote down all my coefficients, figured out what number will make my denominator 0, wrote it down. Brought down first coefficient, multiplied it by 5, added it. Negative 13 plus 15 is going to be 2. Then I multiplied 2 by 5, I got 10. So negative 10 plus 10 is going to be 0. And then I add powers to my x. So I have x to the 0 power, then x to the first power. If I had another term, that would be x to the second power. In this example, I have m squared plus 31 divided by m plus 10. What am I going to do? I'm going to write down coefficients first. What are my coefficients? Here coefficient is 1, here coefficient is 31. But the thing is, you're missing one coefficient because this is m to the second power. Where is your m to the first power? M to the first power is actually multiplied by 0, and this is your m to the 0 power. Again, where does 0 come from? Since we do not see m to the first power, the coefficient therefore is 0. If you see that any of the terms of your polynomial are missing, therefore you are going to put 0, okay? Now, what number is going to make my denominator 0? It's going to be negative 10, so I'm dividing by negative 10. I'm going to bring down 1. 1 times negative 10 is negative 10. So 0 plus negative 10 is going to be still negative 10. And we have negative 10 times negative 10 is going to be 100. And what do we have? We have 31 plus 100, so it will be 131. 131 is your remainder. Okay, so here is going to be m to the 0 power, and here is m to the first power. Okay, so our answer therefore is m minus 10 plus 131 divided by m over 10. Divided by m plus. Synthetic division requires a lot of memorization. Again, you have to memorize. If you do not have a coefficient, the coefficient is 0. What is going to be your denominator? Denominator is going to be the number. Basically, you're dividing by the number that will make the denominator 0. Then you have to add, then you have to multiply, add, multiply, multiply, add, multiply. And then you also have a remainder. And then you have to think about, okay, what are going to be my variables? Well, if you have to learn it, you learn it. Let's do another example. Okay, what number will make denominator 0? Let's set it equal to 0 and find that out. So x is equal to -1/2. So in our little corner, we're going to have -1/2. What are our coefficients? We have 4, we have -8. Oh, then we have 7, and we have -11. Okay, we're bringing down 4. 4 times -1/2. What is that going to be? -2. Okay, -8 plus -2 is going to be -10. -10 times -1/2, that is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. And then 12 times -1/2, -6. And then -11 minus 6, -17. -17 is your remainder. And now, another thing you have to memorize about synthetic division. Here, if you have a fraction, it means here, you're also going to divide. So you're going to have 2 minus 10 plus 12 minus 17. What is going to be the denominator of 17? Whatever you were dividing by, 2x plus 1. Now, here we're going to have x to the 0 power, here x to the first power, and here will be x to the second power. And you can just remove x to the 0 because we all know that that is going to be 1. And this is pretty much your final answer. Okay, let's do a little review. How do we do synthetic division? We're going to write out all the coefficients. If one coefficient is missing, then that coefficient is 0. Figure out what number will make your denominator 0, and that will be the number that you put in your little corner. Bring down first coefficient, multiply it by whatever number is in the corner, add it to the second number. The sum that you got, multiply it again by the number in the corner. Then add that number again. Then the sum, multiply again by the number in the corner. Then add it again, and then you have your remainder. Remainder is going to be the number that you will divide by whatever your denominator was. Then you're adding x's. X starts with the 0 power and keeps adding up by 1. So x to the 0, then x to the first, then x to the second, x to the third, etc. if you have more terms. Alright? I hope this is starting to make just a little bit more sense. You have to practice it and memorize it. And in the next lecture, I will teach you how to do long division, and I much rather do long division than synthetic division. See you! Bye bye!